You and I both love the show Black Mirror, and I think Black Mirror, you can find a Black Mirror episode that resonates with any topic. I want to talk about Hang the DJ, and Ian, why don't you, if you haven't seen Black Mirror, why don't you share with our listeners what the Hang the DJ episode was about?
So Hang the DJ episode, it involves, it follows these two characters who are in the society where you're paired off into relationships, but you know how long that relationship is going to last. So say, for example, if Ricky and I were entering a relationship right now, what is it? They look at a watch. I forget. Like something. They receive an email saying you will be in this relationship for.
They have like a pod. They have like
okay.
It's like an iPad, and the iPad tells them.
Right. So I think it's. I mean, I don't want to ruin the end for people who will watch it, but it really delves into, what does it mean to be in a relationship? What do you learn from your relationships? How do you really use that to discover yourself and what you're really looking for in somebody else, and what are society's expectations? I think that's a big thing too. It touches upon
exactly. And what I liked about the episode is it essentially brings the notion of an expiration date on relationships, removes the stigma from it, that makes it no longer taboo. Because today, when you're dating, when you're single, everyone you meet, you kind of delude yourself into thinking, oh, this could be the one, even if you're incompatible, we've talked about, or even if you want different things, you're at different stages in your life, the timing isn't right. You think, oh, this is going to be one. But with the expiration date in this world that Ian spoke about, the whole idea is when you sit down at the table with someone for that first date, you both look at the pod, and the pod will tell you 24 hours. That's how long you guys are going to be together. It'll tell you a year. It'll tell you 5 years. And if it's 24 hours, then it's just going to be a fling. You're just going to have a one-night stand. If it's a year, it's going to be a short-term relationship that's going to teach you something. If it's 5 years, that's difficult, because if you know that a relationship's going to be 5 years, that's almost the worst thing of all, because you have to allow yourself to love and connect with someone, but not let yourself be completely vulnerable and helpless, because you're not going to be, they're not going to be your person.
Right, you're going to push them away.
Exactly.
Yeah, you already know there's an expiration date to it.
And what's scary, and the episode touches on this, is what happens when you're stuck with someone for a year or 5 years that you can't stand. This one woman in the episode, one of the protagonists, was with this guy who had this annoying tic. He would always take a sip of water and go, you remember?
Yeah.
I've seen that like 3 times. And she's just lying in bed, and she's like, oh, I can't take it anymore. But she's stuck with him. The system, I forget what it's called, the society forces them to stay, and no matter what, you have to stick together, even if you can't stand each other, if you have that bubbling resentment. So the question is, would this be a better society than what we have now? Because you have the pro, which is, the honesty, the transparency, and expectations. You know how long it's going to last. And the con is, what if you're stuck with someone you don't like? Or what if, you're with someone for 5 years and you have to let go?
It's a good question. I mean, it's like, say, for example, if you got somebody for the rest of your life, but you hated them. I'm like wondering, how is this society going to make that determination? We talk about technology. Is there some algorithm that says, oh, you're going to be this likely to be in a relationship with somebody? And I guess we kind of have that to some extent. We're moving towards that. I mean, I wonder, today if using the social dating apps, Tinder, when are they going to start having, certain questions? I know they already have chemistry for Match.com. They have certain things like that. They try to come up with algorithms that work. I mean, we're kind of moving towards that direction, We're trying to make it so that we know we're making the most rational decision. But then I think, and I feel like the episode touches upon this too, rationality doesn't really work that well with love and passion. It's almost like counterintuitive. So, how can you come up with, a number that you'd be in a relationship with somebody?
Like, love defies rationality.
Right, yeah.
So the system, the whole premise of the episode is the system's never wrong. The system's never wrong. But what you're saying is, love isn't something that you can program in an algorithm and it'll tell you your perfect match. Love is something that's organic and elusive. And the other problem with this system is, what about divorce? What happens if you meet the right person, but you're like, I'm not feeling it after a year or two? Because in the episode, there was no such thing as divorce. You were stuck together. You ended up leaving the village once you're with your perfect person. So that would be another pitfall for sure.
Right. Well, I think we have that in our society today. I mean, think about how many people stay in relationships for, or same marriages, whether it's for the kids or for cultural reasons. It's like there is that component still to relationships today. I mean, I don't think by determining. I guess this goes to what, like, predetermination and what your life is going to be like. Yeah, free will. Yeah, actually, another episode that was discussed on Nervous Habits. It ties back into that, and it raises a good question. Maybe we are kind of living in a society today where we have those certain expectations of us.
I think that I do think this is the future. I think that when you look at how dating apps have evolved. I mean, they have, you mentioned Match.com, OkCupid, Hinge, where they ask you 100 questions and they want to set you up with your... I think in the future they're going to have something like this. It's going to be marketed as 100% rate of success, whatever it is. But I just don't think that those relationships are going to be as long-lasting and as fruitful as ones that are more organic, which we've touched on.